It's the people that drive our business forward. It's their dedication, their passion to bring to the job every day what they enjoy doing and drive success. My name is Jay Barth, and I'm a product marketing manager for Terex, and I've been working at Waverly for 5 years. Actually, when I started my career, I had an undergraduate in agriculture and went back and got my master's in business. When you talk about marketing, the thing that I like about it the most is that there's no 2 days that are ever the same, but we try to promote what we call our brand promise, which is how we want to be perceived by our customers. We produce all of the data sheets that customers and our distributors use to sell our products, talking with customers and trying to understand what they need in their business and then translating that into something that's real. Well, probably one of the most memorable things that I've had the opportunity to work on was to conduct a market study for our truck cranes in China. Travel is a huge part of the job, and we try to collaborate with marketing colleagues outside of the U.S. Travel's taken me to Italy, Germany on a constant basis, France, Australia. Yeah, it's a big part of the game. When I came to work, there was no formal marketing facility in Waverly. There was no formal marketing group in Germany at the time. So this has all come together in the past 5 years. We haven't eliminated our legacy, we've embraced it. You can see that throughout the facility, especially on our what we call our timeline wall. We know what our past has been, but we also know where we're headed in the future. And we have a great team here in Waverly. We work together, people who have many, many years of experience, far more than me. In this environment. Just seeing the dedication that people have for their jobs here, it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of trust and respect for the people that I work with. And that's truly incredible to work in an environment like that.
Jan Miller, Documentation Control Specialist, and I've been with Terex 5 years. Actually, the person that mentored me in my position is no longer here. I worked with Clint, and Clint was a very, very good person to work with. I looked up to him a lot. Lee Linder would be the second person that I really look up to. Lee's been wonderful to work for as a manager. What I like about Lee's management style is Lee's a very laid-back guy. If you need something, he's right there to take care of the issues. Biggest accomplishments, probably the change in the hardware. I was on the hardware project to make it so the hardware doesn't rust, and the paint project where our machines don't rust. I'm on the safety committee, I'm on the first responders committee, and enjoy doing that type of stuff. I see the future of Terex hopefully being successful. I'd like to see it go and long after hopefully I retire from here.
Lee Linderkamp, I'm Senior Quality Engineer. I've been with the company 40 years. But when I graduated from college, it was Bantam back then, and the personnel manager was on campus interviewing for engineering positions. I've visited suppliers, I've visited some customers, and went out on some other company issues. I've been down to Florida, Texas, New York, some local driving within a few states. About 20 years ago, when we went through the phase from being a manufacturing facility to being predominantly an assembly facility, when We got rid of the cutting and machine shop. That's probably the biggest change. The team's very good. They bring up issues. Yeah, you got problems maybe to work on, but you know, they sometimes come up with ideas or suggestions or things to look at even though they've got a problem. So they're trying to help you with the issue, trying to help get it solved. So day to day, I'm involved in issues on machines, basically the overall quality of the product. I'm transitioning a little bit more into working with engineering and suppliers on advanced product quality. I started out as a design engineer in an advanced excavator group. Spent about 20 years in testing. Moved over to the quality group, quality engineer, quality manager, and now senior quality engineer. I had a engineering manager, Sam Montgomery, somewhat early in my career, and encouraged me to even go back to school and get an advanced degree. So I had that opportunity while I was here. I think the future's bright for the company. I think you know, we're working on new products. I think I see this continuing to evolve into the assembly facility that it is, but getting better, more sophisticated type equipment to help the team members. But I think overall it's definitely a better product. We know more about it. We have a lot more checks. A lot of the stuff today that we're doing isn't tribal knowledge or kind of by the seat of your pants. We're actually taking measurements, like we do cycle times on units. We measure outrigger drift. We measure outrigger slope. We're just doing a lot more checks and ensuring quality for the customer, both production team members doing those and inspection.
Randy Swall, Senior Manufacturing Engineer, 5 years. Heavy equipment is something that I've always been a part of, and this was just a good opportunity for me to get back into it. I've had an opportunity to go and work with team members overseas in a couple of different factories. One of them was in Italy, and I got a chance to spend a month over there. We eventually transplanted that machine over here, and then we got a chance to build it over here with some guidance of team members that I worked with over there. We have a pretty good time. We have I'd say a pretty close-knit group. I get a chance to work with people out of almost every department: engineering, purchasing, the people in the shop floor, quality, and they're all very helpful, very cooperative in getting things done. I really enjoy the variety that I get to do because I get to work with many different departments. Just get a chance to touch base with a lot of the different cranes that are out there on the floor. When I get a chance to bring a print to a team member or get them a tool or something simple for the day, it's pretty rewarding that they don't have to encounter that problem tomorrow. Implementing engineering changes, I'll also be talking with the engineers about some of those changes. What does that mean? As you weigh out all the options, of course you got to meet with some of the people that are doing the job so you know what the ins and outs are, ups and downs, safety part of it. Dan Slater was an individual that I got a chance to work for directly for a while. He gave me some good direction as well as some good mentoring tips, if you will, about setting schedules and setting plans and identifying what your tasks are so that there's always an understanding of where you're at. The biggest accomplishment that I've had so far is to bring the RT100 from Italy over to here, working with the team members, identifying parts and getting the processes developed.
My name is Michael O Vanek. I've been at Terex for about 5.5 years, and my position is Director of Purchasing and Quality. So a lot of my experience is in the automotive industry. And a colleague that I worked with in the automotive industry recommended Terex to me, and I came here and interviewed and was awarded the position. In purchasing, we have two main functions here at the facility. We have a tactical purchasing and a strategic purchasing. And I'm over the strategic purchasing side of the business, which is responsible for sourcing appropriate suppliers and negotiating price, and making sure that the overall relationship between Terex and the suppliers is performing. I've had the chance to travel to Brazil, to Italy, to Germany, to France, to Czech Republic, to Austria, so quite a few places in Europe. I'd have to say Dan Slater, who's our current Vice President and General Manager, has provided the most mentoring opportunities for me, and I enjoy working with him. And you can just tell when you're working with someone who has a valued interest in your career and your development. It really makes it a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, I'd have to thank Dan for that. The favorite thing about working at Terex is in my position that I have the ability to engage and support team members and enable them to succeed. I think that's one of the things that I get the most satisfaction out of is providing the resources and supporting and mentoring the team members so that they can achieve their goals. It's a Midwestern work ethic, is what I call a Midwestern work ethic. People are passionate about their jobs. They have that conscientiousness. They want to achieve, they want to succeed, and they want to satisfy the customer at the end of the day. And when you're working with teams that all have that same mutual goal of providing value for the customer and satisfying the customer, it makes it a lot easier. And it's not just our external customers, it's internal customers as well. And it's nice to be a part of a team where everyone genuinely is concerned about improving and about supporting their customers. After I got here, we started up the advanced purchasing team to support with all of the new models. And I think that's really helped to provide some focus and to allow us to maintain schedules and to support our internal customers a little better with the responses, because now we're focused on that new model activity. And then the other, I think, would be providing sourcing support globally. We've been able to work with our team members overseas in the Cranes division. We've been able to work with corporate team members, and I think that's helped to give us leverage internationally. I have personal relationships with some of the service managers at our larger customers. So that level of integration, expectation, and then how we have to perform is always evolving. And that's, I think one of the changes since I've been here is that we had a certain expectation level or a plateau, and every year we seem to find a way to raise that bar a little bit on what the expectations are and meet that challenge. So that's what's exciting, and that's what I guess keeps me coming in and keeps the team engaged, I guess. So I think the most memorable anyway, what sticks out, you asked the question, is actually this, is that Terex takes the time to perform this type of a appreciation banquet and to actually videotape, and you can see it on the faces of the team members that are rewarded or appreciated. It really makes a difference. We've had some team members here that have been here 35, 40 years, and I really enjoy seeing that, the smile on their face when they're recognized for 30, 35 years of service. And so I think that's what sticks out, and that's the type of company that we have, is where people want to stay here for 30, 35, 40 years and work their entire career here and not feel like they've missed out on anything.
My name is Larry Chalupnik, and I've been with Terex, in 2 weeks it'll be 25 years. Position is traffic manager. They were looking for a traffic manager, and I came here July 5th, 1988, and it's just buzzed by. It's the fastest 25 years I've ever had. I actually belong with the Transportation Council, so we meet at least twice a year, and we talk about ways that we're going to reduce freight costs for all of Terex in North America and around the world. I've made a trip over to Germany. I've traveled to South Haven, Mississippi, Chicago, also all having to do with ocean freight, negotiating ocean freight rates, truck rates, LTL rates for all of Terex. My biggest accomplishment actually was this year. I received the Ron DeFeo's Chairman's Excellence Award, which I've never received anything like that before. It was a great honor. I had Dan Slater call me from Westport to tell me that I had won the award. My job being back 15 years ago is completely different than what it is today, and everything is much more automated and much more company friendly. I actually looked up to Phil Filipov because he instilled within me the work ethic and never saying no and to find other ways to get the job done. Working with the people here, everybody's very cooperative. They're always trying to help you, and they have a very good Midwestern attitude, which helps make my job much easier.
Darlene Pint. My position in finance is cost accounting clerk. I have worked at Terex for 30 years. I just do a lot of input. I mean, that's basically still my job. And so, the changes that happen, programming and the way things, it's getting to be worldwide now, not just Terex Waverly, so we gotta adapt. I've been involved in many things, working on the Better Place to Work committee, and I'm a wellness champion, and I do enjoy doing that. And my favorite thing about working at Terex is, of course, the people. When you've worked here for 30 years, you really develop a really close friendship with a lot of them. But I like the way Terex treats its team members. It does a lot of little things that a lot of companies don't do. On special holidays, they'll bring in the deli bars, they bring in stuff. They have many sponsored events. There's baseball games that you're invited to go to at no cost to you. People that I look up to at Terex, there is one in particular. It's LaDonna Schlatter. I've worked next to her for 30 years, and she's just an awesome person to work with. I wish I could be like her. She's been great. We used to always get together once a month as a group, and it was called AA night. And a gentleman had just started working, and the note was going around that, hey, it's AA night tonight, and who's all coming? And all these names started, said, he all thought we were alcoholics, and it was just attitude adjustment night. And he just thought, oh my goodness, that's... I do plan on retiring next year, and it's been very hard for me to set a date. Not because I'm not ready to retire, because I am, but because of the Terex family. They've been a part of my life for 30 years, and I've enjoyed them. And Terex company has treated me well, and it's just been a great place to work.
Jim McKenzie. My position is welding and painting group leader, and I have been here for 40 years. I came to work at Terex. I was about a year out of high school. My father worked here. I just probably had an interest in coming here to work on machines and stuff. So I started my career here as actually a welder. I welded in the shop for 17 years before I went into supervision. Then I went into engineering department, and I kind of did a few other things in there. And then I would go to our vendors and set them up on our jobs, and stuff there. I probably had a more unique experience than most. As I said, my father worked here. I worked with my father approximately 28 years. It became kind of a family tradition a little bit. I put quite an admiration for my father. I had a lot of respect for him. I think just the confidence and the support that guy gave me really probably been a great benefit to my career. So, welding to me has been a great fascination. That when I came here, my wife would tell you that the very first thing is I said, I'm not going to be a welder. I got down here and I was fascinated by it. It's a neat process because you can do so many things. The challenge of just having to build something for the first time and new and figure out how we're going to do it for a very much routine day-to-day basis is a thing I enjoy. So I think that's probably what kept me in welding as long as it has. Again, I go back and reflect on the workforce and the knowledge of the people here. It's kind of one of them things you hope you brought up other people well. I've got some people underneath me right now that I kind of try to pass on what my knowledge is and stuff. Terex being a big company the way it is, I do seem to be a big major leader in the construction and earth moving and crane company business. Very rewarding when I go back the 40 years and think about everything and stuff like that, it's probably something that most people don't get the experience that way, and it means a lot to me.
I'm Tom Limbach. I'm the sales training and product support manager for Terex, and I'm beginning my 41st year with the organization. Started off with engineering, and I went through all 23 steps of product engineering, including the director of engineering. And it was rather interesting because the gentleman that interviewed me was the director of engineering, and he said to me, "Do you realize this job that you're applying for pays half of the current job you have?" And I said, "Yes, I do understand it pays exactly half as much." And he goes, "You're a young guy, you're not married, why do you want to do this?" I said, "Because I don't want to move boxes my whole life. I was working in a warehouse." And he stood up and shook my hand and he goes, "You're hired." So the rest is history. I'm also one of the original business practice advocates for our company, which is a recent opportunity I had about 4 years ago when they were really cracking down on proper professional business ethics and so on, and I had the pleasure of being involved with that on the ground floor of that. It was really interesting, but just all those changes, the high integrity way we do business. I'm a Terex promoter, obviously, and I'm trying to sell equipment, but we're always trying to sell something. A lot of off-site time, a lot of time in our factory, a lot of time with sales professionals. I try to host all of the guests that come to the factory. And these are primarily guests along with a distributor salesperson trying to close deals. In this training, I've had the opportunity to teach a lot of people many of the things I've learned and really give them a jump start. And it's very rewarding to train people and see them respond. I like the interaction with the people. I'm a social person. I like those interactions. I really like helping people understand Terex and the products we build and how they fit in the competitive landscape, and basically answering the question, why should I use Terex? Basically, we're in the Midwestern part of the country. People have a strong work ethic. There's great people working here. There's very high integrity people working here. Due to the actions of our HR department, we have a Better Place to Work committee, which brings people in as volunteers from all different walks of the company, and they're really focused on improving the company as a better place to work. And it really brings the community together, and you really see the team members going, wow, this is a good place to work. That's part of the reason you stick with a company, is the people. Great leadership. We have leaderships that truly coach us. Our leaders coach us, they train us, they don't just tell us what to do. And the coaching, even as a senior member of the staff in the last few years, I've learned a lot. When people come to me, and I often have protégés or associates or somebody working with me, the main thing I can teach them is what not to do. They've been educated at a different higher level than I was educated, but I can teach them where the pitfalls are. The future really is secure for those willing to put in the energy and to always be willing to change. The world is a much smaller place than it used to be. Things are constantly changing. Whatever we do that's great today, in 2 weeks could be totally the wrong way. Be open-minded to change, reflect on what happened, and just move forward. Leadership drives that change, and the coaching and the mentoring style of leaders help people accept that change. We lead by serving the people that work around us. And by doing that, you enable those people and you ultimately achieve the goal. I'm a servant leader. I understand that my job is to facilitate the success not only of my leadership, but of the entire team members at the facility. The bridge to trust is frequent, open, and honest communication. If everybody understands what's going on because you've been honest with them, they all understand the decisions and the changes that have to be made.
The experience is, to me, the engine behind what we do. Nothing stays still. We move forward. We make things better every day. And once again, that's our people.